Apple is trapping investors in a massive paradox. Flawless execution and a perfect financial score are colliding with a shrinking price-to-earnings multiple. One valuation model screams the stock is 32% overvalued. Another says it is undervalued. Is this the market's ultimate safety net or a silent wealth trap about to snap? When you look at the $78 per share discrepancy between the two most trusted valuation models in finance, you realize the market has absolutely no idea how to price this company right now. On one side, we have the Benjamin Graham formula. Think of this as the value investing standard. It focuses on what the company is earning right now and its tangible stability. It suggests Apple's intrinsic value is nearly $275, meaning it is undervalued. But when we switch to a discounted cash flow model, which is the gold standard in stock market analysis for predicting future growth, the picture changes violently. The DCF model says the stock is worth just over $196. That is a 32% downside risk staring you in the face. This tension tells us the entire story. If you value Apple for what it is today, it is a fortress. But if you value it for what it will become tomorrow, the math breaks down. The conflict here is between current earnings stability and the fear of a future growth slowdown. And this is exactly why your portfolio might feel safe one day and stagnant the next, despite what the headlines say. But the market is already voting with its feet. And that brings us to the price to earnings compression. You would assume that a company growing revenue by nearly 16% and net income by almost 16% would command a higher premium. Yet the PE ratio, the price you pay for every dollar of earnings, has defied logic and dropped from roughly 34 to 33. This is what we call a D-rating event. Think of it like buying a house. The house itself is getting bigger, more revenue, more profit, but the neighborhood's reputation is cooling off, so buyers are offering less per square foot. The company is making more money, but investors are willing to pay less for it. Why? Because smart money is signaling that the quality of future earnings might be degrading. They see a ceiling. This contradiction, record numbers met with a shrinking multiple, is the first warning sign that sentiment is shifting from growth at any cost to show me the safety. A core rule of any sound investing strategy is this: never confuse a company's past performance with the market's future appetite. To understand why this ceiling exists, we have to look at what I call the perfection paradox. Apple has achieved a Piotrowski F-score of 9 out of 9. For those new to fundamental analysis, think of this score as a comprehensive medical physical for a company's finances. A 9 out of 9 means they're in peak health, improving profitability, lowering leverage, and boosting efficiency all at once. But here is the twist that catches most retail investors off guard. When you are perfect, you have nowhere left to go but down. A score of 9 out of 9 often signals a maturity plateau. It implies that squeezing more efficiency out of this stone is going to be exponentially harder next year. Operational excellence is a fantastic foundation for safety, but it is a terrible driver for the kind of explosive stock price appreciation we saw in the last decade. The narrative tension here is whether this perfection is a stable floor or a concrete ceiling capping your upside. So, how does a company break through a ceiling like that? They usually pivot. And that brings us to the massive strategic gamble in India. We are seeing a rapid acceleration of manufacturing in India to diversify the supply chain. On the surface, the media cheers this as a brilliant move to bypass regional tensions and supply disruptions. And it is. But when we look under the hood at the financials, this is a margin threat. Moving a supply chain of this complexity to a developing market introduces friction. It costs money to be resilient. The company has fought tooth and nail to expand its net margin to 29.3%. But this diversification strategy acts as a direct headwind to that efficiency. Apple is effectively paying an insurance premium, sacrificing short-term margin optimization for long-term survival. For you as an investor, this confirms the company is in defense mode, prioritizing the safety of its operations over the maximization of next quarter's profits. And if the supply chain is the shield, the new MacBook Neo strategy is the trap. By launching a lower-cost device specifically for the education sector, Apple is doing something rare. It is intentionally pressuring its own hardware margins. They are entering a price war with low-cost competitors. Why would a premium luxury brand do this? It is an ecosystem play. They are willing to lose margin on the hardware today to trap the next generation of users in their software ecosystem tomorrow. It is a classic loss leader strategy designed to increase switching costs. The twist here is that this dilutes the luxury financial profile of the hardware division. It tells us that Apple knows its future isn't in selling more expensive phones to the same people, but in capturing users who can't afford them yet. It is a volume play disguised as an educational initiative. But despite these smart defensive moves, the market is ruthlessly stripping away the magic premium. Look at the price-to-book ratio. It plummeted by over 20%, dropping from roughly 56 to 44. That is a massive adjustment. Price-to-book measures how much investors are willing to pay for the company's net assets, essentially the hard value of the business. When this ratio collapses while earnings are rising, it means the intangible value, the brand halo, the belief in magic, is evaporating. Investors are demanding more tangible asset backing for the stock price. This aligns with the broader macroeconomic trend where rising rates and global uncertainty make investors skeptical of blue sky valuations. The market is telling us that Apple is no longer a magical unicorn. It is a tangible, analyzable and somewhat expensive asset. And finally, the most telling signal of all comes from the balance sheet. The debt deleveraging. Long-term debt dropped by nearly 9%. The debt-to-EBITDA ratio improved drastically. Now, a fortress balance sheet is usually good news in stock market analysis. But ask yourself this: why is a company with over $54 billion in annual EBITDA aggressively paying down debt instead of using that leverage to acquire new growth? It suggests a lack of better ideas. If management believed they could earn a 20% return on a new project, they wouldn't be paying off cheap debt. They are choosing capital preservation over expansion. They are hunkering down. This is the behavior of a mature utility company, not a high-growth tech disruptor. It is the ultimate signal that they are bracing for a period of economic volatility where liquidity is king. So let's circle back to that 32% valuation gap we started with. The disconnect exists because the market is in the middle of an identity crisis regarding Apple. The perfection paradox is real. The company is operationally flawless, but that flawlessness is priced for a growth rate that simply isn't there anymore. The strategic moves, India, the MacBook Neo, the debt reduction, are all brilliant, calculated defensive measures. They are building a fortress to protect what they have, not a rocket ship to go somewhere new. The verdict is clear. Apple is trading short-term hardware exclusivity for long-term survival. It is transitioning from a high-growth technology stock into a capital preservation fortress. The overvaluation signal from the DCF model is a warning that if you expect the growth rates of the past, you will be disappointed. But the undervaluation from the Graham model, that classic value investing signal, is telling you that if you want safety, this is as good as it gets. That is why I believe that within the next 24 months, we will see a permanent psychological shift where the market stops comparing Apple to high flyers like Google or Microsoft and starts pricing it like Coca-Cola or Procter & Gamble, a sovereign state of a company where you pay for certainty, not for dreams. But I want to hear your take. Do you think Apple's pivot to fortress mode makes it the perfect safe haven for a volatile market, or is this the beginning of a long, slow stagnation for the stock price? Let me know in the comments. So hit subscribe so you won't miss what's next and jump straight to the next video, because that could be the very insight you need to get ahead.